happy to be back with you today. We are winding up Black History Month, but we got a treat for you. One of our very own, Letitia Stewart, our executive director, she'll be talking with us today. We'll be actually dissecting our Black History event that we had in New York City, and then we'll be talking about the one that we're bringing out here to Metro Atlanta. So we're really excited. First of all, we want you to share this message wide. So if you are watching, please don't be stingy with the content. Share it out to your friends, your family, your network, your colleagues. We believe that we're lifting up very important issues on this platform, and we want to get the message out to as many people as possible. I want to say thank you so much to our followers, to our listeners, to our viewers. We love you so much. We appreciate you. I see you out there. Whether you comment or not, I'm seeing the views going up on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and we appreciate your support. And we also want to make sure that you are aware of our ATL Rise podcast, and that happens. Our episodes are released every Friday. We have one that's going to be released tomorrow with one of our own, Sydney, who's going to be talking about the importance of mentorship and the issues that Black girls and Black young ladies deal with. It's a real podcast that you want to listen to. So please subscribe on whatever platform you choose, whether that is Apple Podcasts, which happens to be mine. I'm an Apple girl, or whether you subscribe on iHeartRadio, Podbeam, Spotify, whatever is your platform. Just make sure you subscribe so you can be the first to be notified whenever there are updates on new episodes. So let's jump right into our conversation today. Letitia, welcome. You are no stranger, you are family. So I'm so happy to have
I
you.
sure am. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody.
Amazing, amazing. So, for those of you that don't know Letitia, I don't have her bio in front of me, but she has been working with the agency for I think about 4 or 5 years. Um, she has been
Just
in the
over four
trenches.
years.
Yes, she's been in the trenches with the organization during the pandemic, working around the clock to make sure we were where our families needed us to be, integral in designing top notch innovative programs, maintaining partnerships with key stakeholders throughout New York City and Atlanta, in North Carolina too, in other states. And so she's been doing amazing work. Outside of that, she's done work with NAACP.
Thank you.
She continues to be a member. And so she's so active in the community. Is also a mom to her amazing son Joseph that she loves dearly,
I
and
sure
she
do.
brings that experience in her role. She leads with her heart, with with the perspective of being a mom, and that's very different. We don't see that all the time. So I'm grateful that she's a part of the organization. She's a jewel and a gem, and we love her at iRaise. So we are sharing her with you just for a few moments.
Oh, and thank you so much. It is so wonderful to be appreciated, but I definitely, love what I do with I Raise. And as you mentioned, just being a mom and kind of coming from that perspective actually really helps me to do this role because I see every child as my child. So I definitely want to put forth my best to make sure that they are getting everything that I would give to my own. So,
I love, I
yes.
love that. That's amazing. And we often, in our meetings, we often talk about our children. So we have set time just to talk about our kids. And I think that's
That's
important
right.
in workplace culture because you're not just an employee, you're a human, you're a person. And you need to have opportunities to talk about what's going on with your kids because they're vital to everything, right?
That's right.
So we get
That's
to have
right.
these conversations, we get to see our kids grow up and share milestones like graduations and birthdays and in the future marriages,
Right.
but we're not rushing that.
Not at all. Not at all. I can hold out
Um,
for that one.
we're gonna hold out for that one, right? But it's always a pleasure that we get to essentially be a part of each other's lives outside of the workspace and know get to see our kids grow up, even if we're not there. We're like, oh, I know them, just because we're always talking about them. So we're talking about kids. We're on conversation. We're on topic. We're on topic. We just held our Unapologetically Black event on February the 18th in
We did.
partnership with the YMCA. And I just seen the video. I could not be there in person, but I seen the video and I was so drawn. I said, I can see the engagement of the young people. I can see the presenters presenting with their heart for first, and it really just touched me in so many ways. But you were there right in the midst, and I want to hear from you. How did it go? What were some of the highlights of that event?
Absolutely. Well, in case you weren't there, let me say this. You should have been there because it was an absolutely amazing event. We had a nice good sized crowd. It wasn't like hundreds of people, but every single person that was present in that room was fully engaged with what was going on. So the name of the event was Unapologetically Black, and we selected that name because so often, as people of colors, Black people of color, sometimes we can be a little bit ashamed,
Mhm.
of our color. Just being in this country, sometimes they make you feel uncomfortable in your own skin. And that is something that we completely wanted to change and turn around through this event, which we are. Even though we always do a Black History Month event, we decided we're going to do Unapologetically Black every single year going forward, because we have got to celebrate ourselves, celebrate every shade of Black that we are. Making sure that our young people appreciate who they are, that they know who they are, know where they come from, know the
Mhm.
DNA, right? One of our theme for the event was building power, pride, and privilege.
Ah,
So, yes,
beautiful.
so through everything that we did in this event, really went to support and lift up that theme. So,
Yeah.
we were talking about Black pride. It was,
Mhm.
again, understanding the ancestry, where we
Yes.
came from. Who are
Mhm.
those others that are even around us currently? So, not,
Mm.
just going backwards, but who's current and modern in today's society, that is doing the thing, right? And really representing for the Black community.
Mhm.
And then in terms of, the power, I think you have to understand, and everyone needs to understand that, we do come from that place of power. One
Mhm.
thing that we talked about during the event was just understanding that if you were in that room that day, it's
Mhm.
because someone in the past endured so much, endured slavery, endured mistreatment, endured
Yes.
Jim Crow
Yeah.
long enough to survive and
Yeah.
to raise their child if they were given the opportunity, and their child wasn't taken away, but they survived just long enough so that the next generation could go on. And that's how we were all able to sit in that seat today.
Yeah.
And that DNA, that strength, that power is
Yes.
within all of us. And that's kind of where the privilege comes from. Wearing that Black skin is a privilege,
Absolutely.
because it represents so much struggle and so much
Mm.
overcoming that
Yeah.
happened in the past and that is still happening. And what we wanted our young people to know was that they're part of it.
That's right.
They are part of the history, the
Yeah.
part of the story of
Yeah.
Black history. So they are um, a vital part, because their part actually impacts the future. So, everything that we have done in the past, is past. It cannot be changed, but it brought us to where we are. But everyone who's here right now can impact the future. So it's so important that, again, we understand our pride, our power, and our privilege,
I
to
love it.
to be here and just to be Black in America, right?
Black in this world,
And
but
Black anywhere in the world, right?
I love that so much. It's really, there's so many things that I'm thinking as you're speaking. But one of them that comes to me is the idea of narrative and the way in which we are tell our story. And I don't know who I was talking to about this, maybe a girlfriend the other day, but we were joking around, but well, really being real, and talked about the fact that a lot of these stereotypes about Black people being dumb or lazy, they have no legitimacy. They have no foundation. They have no type
Right.
of empirical data. Thinking about Black people being lazy, Black people built this country from the ground up. And it was our
That's
skills,
right.
our talents, our expertise that poured into the building of the economy as we see it today. A lot of which intellectual property that we didn't get credit for, that was taking essentially from us. That to this day, there's so much intellectual property of our ancestors that will probably never receive credit for. But yet, there are these horrible stereotypes about Black people being lazy when we've always worked for free. And so I see this interesting post on Facebook that said Black people started being lazy when they stopped working for free. And I agreed with that. I was like, okay, I understand,
That's right.
because when you see a people that has weathered the what was meant to kill them and essentially make them extinct, but has survived and has thrived through that, and from that has birthed out leaders and
That's
inventors and
right.
scientists and engineers and entrepreneurs and arts and culture and all these amazing things. That's a people that shows not laziness, but hard work, perseverance, strength, persistence, never giving up. These are the attributes that are true to our DNA and true to who we truly are.
100%. And I said, it's so interesting how you mentioned, kind of the stereotypes and how others try to get you to see yourself. That's why it's so important that you know who you are. One of
Okay.
the things that we mentioned at the event was about seeds,
Ah,
and that you kind of have to select your own seed and
mm,
plant your own seed, because
mm,
if you allow someone else to plant something for you, and you have no idea what's going to grow up, because in that you don't know what that plant is going to grow into, because what they are putting in may not be in your best interest.
mm,
They may tell you you're lazy, they may tell you you're shiftless, they may
mm,
tell you that you're constantly late. There's all those stereotypes that you're being fed, those
mm,
seeds that are being planted. But if
mm,
these falsehoods should not be allowed to grow, so you definitely have to uh, be educated. And we told the young people that, even if they don't go to college, like going to college is great, but even if they don't select that path,
mm,
not having a college degree does not mean you're not educated. So you always have to be willing to learn, always
mhm,
have to be willing to take in information, and
yeah,
always have to be willing to seek out the truth,
mm,
and realize what's actually reality, and, be mindful of who is feeding into you. And we let them know that, of course, each and every one of us in the room that day, we were there for them. Like, that's why we were there,
right,
and so it was so important that they take these seeds that we're trying to plant that day
yeah,
and take it out with them. And so it was so interesting, because we were at the YMCA location,
mhm.
that, some of the young people that were there playing basketball and things like
Yeah,
that, it's like, oh, what's going on? Come in the room and
yeah,
find out.
come on when you
Have a
find out.
seat and find out what's going on. And
Mm.
then next thing you know, they leave the room and you're like, okay, they're leaving because they're not interested, but then they left and come back with somebody else. So it's
Ah,
like, they're trying
love
to
it.
tell other kids, like, to
I
come
love
in
it.
here. So we were in there cheering and making noise and putting up our muscles,
Yes,
our strength, signs of strength.
that's
And
Black
it was like, yeah,
Pride.
that's right, Black
Black
Pride. Let them
Pride.
know that everybody out there that they should be in here.
Yes, that's Black Pride. What comes to me in this moment is the explanation when someone asks you, "So, what's your nationality?" And for Black folk, we tend to explain that we're from multiple places. So we'll say things like, well, I'm Indian and I am Blackfoot and Cherokee and got a little Dominican and also a little bit of Irish.
Right.
And to me, and I understand, right, that we're all essentially made up of so many things, cultural wise or ethnic wise or nationality
Right,
wise, but I think sometimes there is this unmentioned shame behind saying that you're black. And I think that that is exactly what we're up against. We're trying to get black people to be black without apology. So many times we're
right,
apologizing for who we are. We're apologizing for our pain. We're apologizing for what we went through. We're apologizing for our skin color, where we have to over explain everything. But be who you are without apology, without compromise, without having to explain. I'm black, period. That's it.
that's
And
right.
without apology. And I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of where I come from. I am proud of the story of my ancestors. I am proud of our history before slavery. I am proud of where we have come. I'm proud of our future. I am proud of where we are today, although there's still a lot of work to do. There is a level of pride that we tend not to embrace behind blackness. There's a shame that's associated with blackness, and we want to rip that shame off, and we want us to stand tall in our blackness and our black excellence and embrace it, because there is so much pride to being who we are.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was at an event yesterday, and our wonderful Bronx Borough President,
Mm.
Vanessa Gibson, I hope
Shout
she doesn't mind me sharing her story, right? And
Mhm.
and and Councilmember Kevin Riley, just sharing something
Shout out
that
to
they
Councilmember
mentioned.
Kevin.
Yes, yes. Shout out Councilmember Riley. So, again, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, but since he stated it publicly, I guess he wouldn't mind. But he was saying how, he has his adorable daughters, that he tends to, bring with him and show
Yeah.
pictures of. And
Uh-huh.
someone actually came up to him and asked, to say how lovely his daughters were, but then
Mm.
to proceed to ask if they have the same mother.
Oh my goodness.
And so
Mm,
he was just so taken aback by that
mm,
question, because it's like, not only is it the same mom, but it's my wife. We are a
right.
family. So it's like you said,
Right.
those stereotypes that,
Mm,
that black men are just planting seeds all over the place, that they
right.
don't take care of their children. It's like,
Right.
that every black household is broken. And it's like, that
It is.
is not the case.
No.
I grew up in a two-parent household in a
Mhm.
house, it's like, but everybody doesn't necessarily subscribe to that. And then of course, Vanessa Gibson shared her story of how, when you talk about being unapologetic,
Yeah.
walking into rooms where she's the only black face in the room. And I think
Mhm.
we probably have all had like a little moment like that, where you go into a store or you
Oh,
go
yeah.
into a location and you're looking
Oh,
around
yeah.
and you're like, oh, it's just me. And sometimes, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said, we do feel like we have to pull back, because
Mhm.
um it's not even for ourselves, it's for
Right.
them.
Yeah.
We don't want them
Yeah.
to feel
I feel uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
we like, right, so we pull back ourselves. But
Mhm.
oh no, we need to stop that. Unapologetic. We
Right.
stand proud in who we are and the success we
Yes.
have. So Vanessa Gibson, she's like, now she just marches in the room like, all right, like,
I love
I
it.
am the success story. I just march in round.
I love that. I love it. And I'm thinking about some of the workshops that we have coming up. So, we mentioned, I think when we opened, that we're bringing this event to Metro Atlanta, and we'll be
We are.
partnering with the YMCA out here as well. And we have some great workshops that we have planned for our young people, because we want them to get information. To be successful, to
Yeah.
have practical tools and resources that they can take with them and implement and apply to their lives. So, can we go over what some of those workshops are going to look like on February 28th next week?
Sure, absolutely. And we had some really great workshops and facilitators and panelists at the event that we had this past weekend, but we're expanding on that even further, on our February. So we have Julian Smith from J.K. Smith Senior Foundation, who is going to be facilitating a workshop specifically for Black men and talking about the
Love
healing power of music.
it. I
You
love
know,
it.
how often do we talk about hip hop and jazz and the blues and, different genres of music being a means and an outlet, to share our stories and to heal, use it really, putting those words out there as a means of healing. So, Julian Smith will be talking about that at his workshop.
Yeah, and
We have Whitney.
we
Oh,
can
yes.
just
Go.
stop
Sorry.
and talk about the significance of each workshop too.
Sure.
So the healing through
Absolutely.
music part, I think it's so we've not only healed through music, but music has been our language. It has been our language to be able to our language of freedom, our language to never give up, our language of making sure that we're communicating with each other. Anyone seen the movie Harriet? Whenever freedom would be the opportunity of freedom would present itself to slaves, Harriet would sing, right? She would sing, or they would sing, and through the music, they knew that that sound meant freedom was near, that there
Right.
was an opportunity to leave where you were, leave enslavement, take that risk, and run towards freedom. So music is who we are, and so I love the
Absolutely.
healing through music. It is a non-traditional form of healing, also what I call an ethnic centered form of healing. I believe that counseling, mental health healing must be ethnic centered. So we had a workshop really quickly at iRaise I think it was maybe last month when CBS News was there, and one of the kids was talking about, he's in therapy, and he's like, it doesn't work for me. It's like, I don't want to sit there and talk. I want to heal through other ways like music. And I was like, and that is okay. If healing is your way, if
Right.
music is your way to heal, do music, right? Who says there has to be one way to healing? No, there are ways that we have healed over the years that we have to take from that experience, from that the things that have worked, and apply it to today. So I just wanted to put a plug in on that. The healing through music is so important, and I'm really looking forward to that workshop.
Absolutely. Look, there's probably a soundtrack, like they say, right? There's like a soundtrack for your life. Like probably every stage of life, there's like a song that you could tie to it that kind of
Yeah,
takes you back to that
so
moment. And
true, so true.
just using those words that are in that song can help you to work through,
Yeah.
that time of your life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. What's our next workshop? What do we have next?
So next up, we have Whitney O'Hearn, who is
Yeah.
actually going to be
Yeah.
doing
Whitney.
something about advocating for
Yeah.
better healthcare.
Yes.
So important,
Yeah.
especially I think that, since the COVID-19 pandemic
Mhm.
really, as if we didn't already know, right? The disparities in healthcare,
Mhm.
between different races and cultures of people.
Yeah.
But, COVID-19 just brought all of that up even more, made it
Yeah.
even more apparent. And
Mhm.
so, we want to get to that better place,
Yeah.
for people to know that you actually deserve excellent
Definitely.
health care.
Yeah.
And so, how to pursue and to speak up and advocate for that in your community.
I want to mention something on that as well. Whitney is a friend of mine, and I am so blown away by her story, and I hope she gets to share it. She's a registered nurse and is will be opening her own organization to help build up health outcomes and Black mothers. And she is such a story that really touched me that I don't want to share because she didn't share yet, so I don't think I can do that. But I'm hoping that she gets to share with these um, amazing individuals that'll be there on Tuesday. She's such a jewel. She carries so much knowledge, information, and experience, lived experience, and professional. And so we're in for a treat with Whitney. I can't wait. All right, what's our next one? What's our next one?
That's
I'm
so
getting
great.
excited.
And look, while you're mentioning kind of the healthcare, I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Diane Banks,
Dr.
who was at
Banks, we love
our
you.
Yes, our February 18th event because she was there,
Yes.
scrubs and all, came
Okay.
over from work
Yes,
to take a break
love it.
and come out to the event and present and talk to our young people, and shared her story of how she, was a kind of a troublesome child, getting into different things and that she probably shouldn't have gotten into, and then getting into cheerleading and letting that really be the catalyst for future things. That one interest kind of exploded and took her in a lot of different directions, including the laboratory. And now she's a clinical lab technician. So it was really exciting to hear her story. So definitely
Amazing.
love our healthcare workers. Thank them,
Love you,
all of them,
Dr.
for
B.
so much for everything that they do.
Yes. Yes,
And
amazing. Um, I'm sorry, go ahead.
and then we have something for our young Black girls when we talk
All
about
right, young
Black
Black
girl
girl.
magic.
Yes.
I
Woo! I
love
can't wait
it.
for that
I
one.
love it. So yes, Sydney Hill will actually be doing
Yes,
something
Sydney.
for our young girls, a
Yeah.
workshop about resilience
Mhm.
and that Black girl magic, like what it means, and how do you express it.
Mm. I just
And
wanna say
look,
really
I think it
quickly.
doesn't even
Yeah, go
go
ahead.
away when you're young, right? It doesn't go.
That's right.
I think
That's
I
right.
still have my Black girl magic,
We still
right?
got our we still got it. We still got it. We not old. We're not. I don't. But let me just say about Sydney, I am so blown away by this young lady. You'll actually get to hear her on the next episode of ATL Rise. Please make sure you listen to it tomorrow morning. I think at 7 a.m. If you're on your way to work, just play it while you're driving or on the subway if you have Wi-Fi. But she has such a powerful story, and she talks about her story of what she's dealt with, some mental health challenges growing up, and she is actually a scientist, a young Black female scientist in the making. And so she's someone that's going to be pouring back into our kids and to our young people on Tuesday. And she has a story and she is extremely brilliant. So we are bringing quality, high quality presenters and facilitators to pour into our young people. All right, who we have next? We're almost at
That's
time, but
right.
let's try to get through
I
it.
know, I know. Well, look, we'll get through it, but look, we can't leave out this next one because everybody, especially during this time of inflation and
Mhm.
where everyone's complaining about the price of eggs and everything going
Yeah,
up and the price of gas, generational wealth is so important to talk about. And Johnny Simpkins from Morgan Stanley is going to be one of our workshop facilitators, and he is going to be talking about that very topic.
awesome. I love it.
So
Uh,
important.
Generational wealth, extremely important. We have to find ways to build wealth for our families and to pass it down to generations so that we're leaving an inheritance and a legacy for our families. I love it. What's next?
Up next is Simone Mingo. So, what's more important, right, than telling our own story our own way, right? And
Yes,
the way that we can do that is through film, through communication, through the media. And
yeah.
so, Simone is actually going to be talking a little bit about that.
Awesome. I love that. And what I love is that Atlanta is a Black Mecca. It's a place for arts and entertainment. There's so many films going on out here. We got the Tyler Perry Studios out here,
That's right.
and we have so much talent, hidden talent in Atlanta. So we're hoping through that workshop, young people or college students or adults with an interest in film and media come out to that workshop and get some valuable tools. And what's our last workshop? I think we have one more left.
We sure do. And look, you should definitely know this one because this one is you.
I will be teaching
Our
that one. Yes.
wonderful, yes, CEO Shaniqua
Yes.
Moore is actually going to be facilitating a
That's right.
workshop on entrepreneurship.
Yes.
As you know, she is a successful entrepreneur, has started her own nonprofit as well as other entities. And we're so excited to actually have her
Me
sharing
too.
her secrets of success
Yeah.
to all of the young people that are interested in starting their own business.
Yeah, and so what's interesting is we originally I wasn't going to be teaching a workshop, but when Mr. James from YMCA mentioned that the kids are very interested in the entrepreneurship program, and also they were trying to get theirs up off the ground, and said that this was something that they were trying to do at the Y. I said, well, we've been running successful entrepreneurship initiatives. So I did volunteer to teach, and I love teaching the teenagers, the young adults, the adults about entrepreneurship. It is a passion and a love of mine. And I'm really excited to be able to teach that. We also run entrepreneur coaching sessions every Monday. So I think registration may still be open for maybe a few more days. So if there are teenagers that are interested in doing our entrepreneurship executive coaching program, please apply because registration will be closing really soon. But I think that that is all of our workshops. We also have some amazing panelists. We have Dr. Ladina Bolton in the house. Who will be teaching, who will be pouring in through the panel to our young people. Dr. Ladina, you have not seen a trailblazer until you have met Dr. Ladina, and she will be with us and she'll be pouring into our young people and our young adults and our adults that day. We also have Erica Mitchell from Atlanta Public School Board. Dr. Ladina is from DeKalb County. We also have Whitney, our registered nurse, will also be serving on the panel as well. And we're hoping to have a few other panelists, male panelists, that can pour into our young men. So we have a power packed field nights evening, and we're expecting young people to come and to receive. This is their opportunity, really, not to do work, but to just be poured into, to be celebrated. Sometimes they're yelled at and they're told you're not doing enough, or you're not meeting whatever the milestones are. But this is our opportunity to pour into them, to love on them, to embrace them, to hug on them, and to tell them that they can do whatever their hearts desire, whatever their goals are that they have for their lives. They can achieve it, and they have a village of people supporting them, that's standing with them,
That's right.
making sure that they succeed. And that's what it's about.
100%. We are there for you, young people. Don't forget it.
We
Remember to
love you.
seek us out. Seek us out.
We love our young people. We love our youth. And we're really excited. What is one highlight that you would share briefly from New York City's event that you're hoping to see in Atlanta?
Hmm. You know what? There was such a sense of oneness in the room that
Yes.
I really loved. We had a gentleman that came up there and performed, and he was singing about Get It Together. And he had everybody singing and clapping, and everybody was just in one accord in the room. And again, it was that sense of just being one, being family, being familiar. We
Yes.
also had a young gentleman, Zayden, who read a poem that he wrote himself, and he was
Mhm.
so celebrated. Everybody was so excited for
Oh,
him to get his words out because he was so nervous. And he actually, and we celebrated him because, and the fact that it takes courage. So again, that's one of those things about, being Black, that courageousness, and he brought it out, lifted that out of himself to share his words with everybody. So I definitely want to see that same togetherness, that same sense of family and oneness come out in Atlanta, and I have no doubt that we'll see it.
I love it so much. We want to see unity. That's what it's about. It's about community, unity, togetherness. That's the way we've always healed. That's the way we've always overcame and thrived, when we've come together. So we're unapologetically
That-
Black. We're pouring into our young people. We're embracing them because they matter. They're valuable. They are our future
That's
and
right.
our present. And it's their time to be celebrated. We're excited. We're excited about it. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Letitia,
we
for
are.
joining.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been
Thank
a
you for being
pleasure.
here. Thank you. And
Oh,
we
and
do.
just I think and
Uh-huh.
we should share where the event will be
Yes.
taking place.
Yep. Les,
And
please. You
so,
can read that off on the
yes,
screen.
absolutely. So as you can see, it's going to be the Villages at Carver Family YMCA, located at 1600 Pryor Road in Atlanta. So take that down. Hopefully you can see the QR code there on the screen, or you could go to iraiseinc.org/events in order to get to the space where you can register for the event. We definitely want to see you there. We welcome you. We welcome everybody that wants to come out and participate, and really be part of this amazing celebratory event.
Awesome, awesome. We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Letitia. Join us wherever you are. If you're in Metro Atlanta, we want to see you come out. There is something for you there. There's something valuable that you'll receive at this event. We want you to be there. Don't miss it. We're building Black pride, power, and privilege. Unapologetically Black, excuse me. And we are going to make sure our kids know that too. So we want to thank all our facilitators and our panelists in advance. And we also want to thank the YMCA for partnering with us on this event.
Yes.
We're looking forward to celebrating our youth. So make sure you're there. Remember that tomorrow is our ATL Rise podcast episode being released. We'll be talking about mentorship and the importance of Black girls having mentors. You'll be hearing from one of our very own who'll be telling her story. Sydney, who's also one of our facilitators next week. We love you all. Thank you so much for supporting us, for following our content. I appreciate you. If there are topics that you want to see happen that we're not talking about, please reach out to us and let us know. And if you're interested in being a guest on our show, one of our upcoming shows, you can email us at info@iraiseinc.org. We love you all so much. Have a wonderful